Dani Ayalon. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us, sir. Does it appear that we're heading toward an IDF ground operation into Gaza?
Well, it seems like that. I would say that the factor that our Iron Dome protection has achieved 90% success gives our leaders and also the IDF more breathing space to take its time, so any ground operation, if it takes place, will be very well planned and executed.
You know, it would appear for the time being that the world is giving Israel time to deal with the problem with Hamas, but do you think that public opinion and international pressure may change that?
I think we still have a lot of credit. First and foremost, I think that the international community may be understanding now the mistake and error of their acceptance of this supposedly national unity Hamas, national unity of the Palestinians, which is basically a Hamas government. There was not even a standing on their own, the international community's own red lines of Hamas becoming a legitimate interlocutor if indeed it accepts the quartet's principles, namely recognition of Israel, renouncing of terror, of course accepting former agreements and so on. Not only this was not put as a condition for Hamas, they were welcomed into the government, and I think we see the results right now.
How do you account for the relative silence that from the Arab League and even Turkey?
Well, I believe also there is a reckoning time in the entire international, or certainly the Arab world. I believe today that not only there is a total breakup of the Arab world as we have known for the last 100 of years, but also there is a real division, crisscrossing between Shiites and Sunnis, between relative moderates and extremists and radical Islamists, whether it's Salafists or Wahhabis or Hamas and Muslim brotherhoods. I believe today that there is a convergence of interest between moderates throughout the Middle East, whether it's the government of Egypt or even the government of some countries in the Gulf and the Israeli government, to really bring down terror, which at the end of the day consumes everything. And I think now even the Arab regimes understand that terror is terror, whether it's CICI, whether it's Al-Qaeda, whether it's Global Jihad, Hamas or Hezbollah. They're all of the same character, with the same goals and ideology, and the same danger for the entire stability of the Middle East and much beyond.
Are you seeing any kind of signs that there's any third party, such as Egypt, working to secure a ceasefire?
Well, there are attempts. There are certainly attempts by Egypt and others. The Qataris are trying to get involved as well. But at this point, we do not see really a cohesion in terms of Hamas. Not that we should distinguish between any Hamas factions, whether it's a political wing supposedly or military wing. They're all terrorists with the same contact, ideology, and danger. So at the end of the day, I believe that Israel will not stop and will not let up until we see a real deterioration of the Hamas capabilities. So we will not stand in a few weeks or months in the same situation where they can terrorize our entire country.
There's a strong sense of deja vu for many of us. Israel has fought this kind of a war twice previously. What, in your view, is the best realistic outcome that we can hope for?
Well, the best realistic outcome would be to achieve peace and quiet for as long as possible. This has been the story in the Middle East, and I would say almost throughout history. You see wars which are intercepted by periods of calm. Certainly this was the case in the last 100 years right here in the Middle East. So I think this probably would be the best outcome, unless and until we see a new and reformed leadership of the Palestinians, which stop this ideology of all or nothing, which understand that it's not a zero-sum game, that we can achieve a coexistence together with the future for all of us.
Former Deputy Foreign Minister Dani Ayalon, thank you very much for being with us this evening, sir.
Thank you.